Hey everyone, my name is Kaby, this is kabyraGe, and today we're gonna watch another game I played after the balance patch. Actually, I thought I would be uploading many more during the New Year's weekend, but real life had the other plans, so I didn't really have much time to play. So, after we came back, post January 10, I started playing again a little bit, and finally I got a game that was probably interesting and that I also was able to end, because I had a couple of really cool games but I couldn't end them because I had to go, so I had to surrender. And I already have one video on my channel of the game which I wasn't able to end, so didn't really feel like doing this all the time. Anyway, this time around I'm playing again versus Dino, the player that I already uploaded the battles against in the early days of the channel. Since that time Dino, I think, improved quite a bit. He's probably like top 5 player at least. For the periods of time I would even include him in the top 3 list. But anyways, he's doing a good job with the light faction which he's playing in this game. And in the last couple of games we played against each other. He did bad things against me with his Fox Riders, so I was expecting him to do so, but Fox Riders as well as many other things were changed in the last balance patch, and Fox Riders in particular became more expensive. Also archers were nerfed a little bit because they had their crit chance nerfed. It is slightly lower now. And many other tweaks. Most importantly, the heroes are much easier to get to, because the hero altar is twice as cheap and even more than twice. And also we get back those skeleton archers for 2 food, and that is precisely why I play what you can see on the screen right now. It is 2 racks into the undead obelisk with the very delayed tier 2 main building. You can also notice the little tweak I made, because the worker that had a full pack of wood was going to jump in to grade the main building, so I cancelled the upgrade for a bit, so the worker was able to give his tree away before he started the upgrade, so I didn't lose the 60 wood. But now I see Dino coming with his 3 swordsmen. I ended on 2 goons because I already had it set up for producing skeleton archers. I don't really have this build arranged very good and tightly, so I just do how I feel it, and I felt that probably this time around after 2 goons I can already cut up on them. But now I add another 2 for 2 reasons. First, I wanted to add the sawmill, but because of the stupid misclick I built it in the wrong position. I wanted to move it, but instead of that I pressed on that accepting button, so that was quite stupid. But anyways, I rearranged my sawmill and added a couple of goons, because I had the gold to work with, but didn't really have a lot of wood. And now I decided to pull out a strategy that is being used quite often. I just take all of my army by the 5th minute mark and throw it into my enemy's face, and at the same time I just send my walker over one of the chests, So the idea is very simple. He either has an army in his base and he can defend, but then I'd probably be able to take the chest. Or he has his army on the chest, then, well, I lose a worker. I wasn't quick enough to save it, but in a change I'll be able to probably cut a couple of things in his base. This is the second scenario, so I'm taking a couple of buildings in his base, and I'm not sure what he's doing. Probably he can be counterattacking me, so I really want to get my dark magic tower. By the way, sorry for forgetting to switch the interface to English once again, because we install the different versions every Friday when we test the things internally. So when I again install the Google Play version, I get it Russian and I sometimes forget to switch. But anyways, I guess you guys can survive that. Now we see that Dino already got his first fox out, and of course he's been able to defend. I took down a couple of his buildings. That was the farm and the barracks, and I think also the elven tree, which is not bad. When you see the light player has the tier 2 elven tree, that is no questions the most important target to take down, because it is very expensive and it takes forever to rebuild. But tier 2 elven tree is not bad either. At least I'll be able to delay his foxes. Now what I have in my mind is, of course, not really building this one, but I still can't figure out where do I want it, but to probably fight for the mid chest. But the problem here is that I traded all of my armor for those buildings, so I don't really have much to fight right now. And it is already 20 seconds to go, already 15 seconds to go, so I probably won't be able to get there in time. But you know, in the latest games I had, I found that probably you don't really always have to fight for that mid chest on 7 minutes mark, 7:30, because sometimes you rather want to save your army. You don't really want to trade your army no matter what, because if you are getting the good army, you can really let your enemy take the chest but overcome later on. So it is not really a strategy, but rather a technique that I really tend to use lately. But here we can see that Dino is engaging in me, and probably the fact that he didn't see me on the chest led him into misunderstanding and figuring out that I don't really have anything, but I already do have, because skeleton archers are really quick to replenish. So I already have quite a bit of an army, and I also had my necromancer of the dark gate, so it is a very good timing for me to get a lot of skeletons to work with, and those will let me to control the map for free, because I can send the skeleton warriors on the chests, and whether you don't have just one but have 2 or 3 on the chest, they can even take down an archer and a swordsman, so that is not bad. My eater keep harassing the army. Dino is casually good with his archer split. I think during the last maybe 10 games we had against each other, he really impressed me with those splits, so I don't really expect him to give out the archers in any fight, but when you have such a tanky hero, you don't really care much. You can let that thing do its thing, you know. So anyway, I'm pushing his further and further, and by the time I'm trying to get my mana tower, I didn't really haste with getting my mana well, because he has foxes. So those foxes can just recapture my well once I have it. So it makes no sense to haste with your mana well if your enemy is playing elves. I think I saw many games where the opponent of such elf player would take a well really quick, and then the fox just to take it in a minute, and dark player can't really get it until they build anyway in the sky, like a Renato, probably venom spitter, but I don't have any of those anytime soon, so that's why I just entirely skip the well for now. But I tried to get his one, but well, in the end I just lost my eater. But actually I'd say that it was worth it, mostly because I pushed his army away to his own base, so that led me to take both chests with those skeleton warriors I mentioned before. So what I do is I keep hiring my skeleton archers. I also decided to get probably 1 or 2 goons to accompany my eater in the front lane. So we see that I have 2 goons arranged by now. And I also thought that I'd probably upgrade my under obelisk, but then I decided to first upgrade the dark gate to get the zombies. I'm here noticing that he's engaging me, but I decided that it is more important to figure out building right now, because I thought I had enough to fight, but it seems that I missed the magic blast or something in my skeleton archers, so I had a lot more in the beginning of the fight, but those guys are not really expensive, so I can trade them, and that's not the worst thing can happen to you if you lose a 3 or 4 or even 5 skeleton archers. That's not really that much of a business. And again, I have the magic blast in me, skeletons going down, but my eaters still have a lot of HP, and I must be having a zombie somewhere around. Here it is. I'm gonna forward it into one of the low units and to attack some other unit with the eater. Just casual undead things I already showed you guys many times. Dino has been really impressive with that split again, so I decided that I'd be just attacking the other archer, finishing it off, trying to finish off the other one. Dino is not being quick enough this time around, so I'll be able to get 2 zombies for entirely free. I also decided that I need more necromancers, but probably I could cut it on 2 or on 1, I mean, but in the end I've got 2, well, why not? Then I keep producing zombies, and even though I got those 2 chests on the 10th minute mark, since I also had to reorder the eater, I'm nearly running out of gold. So once I'm trying to spam those skeleton archers, I'm really been out of gold. And here I decided to do a well, finally. That is because I was about to upgrade the under obelisk, so I thought I'd be defending that mana well with the second dark magic tower I can get. I see that he's engaging at my position, but I thought that I can still make it in time, but I need 1 unit to get back on the chest to really capture it. And here we have meteorite coming in on my head. I wasn't quick enough, but I still was able to pull most of my army off that meteorite, so it didn't really do too much damage against me. Here I see that the tier 2 obelisk still not ready. And since it is almost 15th minute mark, I'm now interested to push his army back as far as I can, and then I can capture these chests. Again, I have more skeleton warriors to work with, so I can use them for that purpose, and here I'm getting that second tower to defend the chest. Well, 3 foxes is probably slightly too much for me to deal with. Dino is destroying necromancers in the first place, zombies in the second place. That makes sense, I think. So that's precisely what I had to do. So I'm trying to get my eater out of there if I can, but it seems that I can't. So the eater went down, but what I do here, that is an interesting part, actually, because last time we played, me, Dark, and Diana Light, he demolished me on the other map, and after that we had a little chat, so I asked him, so why you think you won? Because I was winning the game all the fucking time, so how did it look for you? Why? And he explained me this little trick, so once your opponent get a lot of foxes, then immediately make a transition into the venom speeders. So he still be having a couple of archers, but that's not a problem once you have like 4 plus venom speeders. So this is precisely what I am trying to do against him. So I'm trying to use the advice he gave to me and transition to venom speeders to get a control over the foxes and probably the knights, which we can see him getting to his army. So he's reacting on me doing many skeleton archers, and that's make a perfect sense, but I am already getting venom speeders, but well, currently there's probably a little too much of the archers, so I don't really want to fight. I'm trying to pull my venom speeder back to the towers where they will be in safe position, and now my eater is out of the hero altar. He's trying to engage on my mana tower, but now you can witness another nerf we applied to the fox riders, because they have even bigger what do we call that? Anyway, they do less damage to the buildings comparing to what they do to the units, and that penalty became bigger. So that penalty increased in the next patch, so now foxes can't really take down buildings quick. And now my venom speeder was able to take down an archer, and since he doesn't have any anti-air anymore, he has to retreat. I decided to repair my mana tower just in case. And I already have tier 4, so probably I need the third one as well, but we don't see me doing that. And instead I just keep spending my gold. Undead, as Grom likes to mention, by the way, Undead faction really consumes a lot of gold, which makes sense because zombie doesn't cost many wood and eater doesn't cost many wood. And well, venom speeders and skeleton archers pretty much do, but they as well are very fast units to produce, so they still consume many gold, even though they consume quite a bit of wood as well. But I do what I can, right? So I mean that I'm getting almost all the chest, and also using the echo scrolls, so I decided to see if he controlled that observation tower, because I didn't really want to move out if he does, because that would mean that once I went out of my base he will probably attack me from the left side, At least I suffered to that quite a bit when I was playing against white unicorns sometimes. And what we see now is that he precisely doing that, so he's attacking me from that very position. I didn't still clean up, haven't still cleaned up that observation tower, but alright, I lost the mana tower, and still I thought that it wasn't a good motivation for me to fight against archers in the circle of power. So I decided to wait until that would go away, and only then I started an engagement. I'm forcing my eater into the archers to take them off as quick as I can, and then venom spitters will clean off everything that will remain. And that is precisely what happens. We was able to take down those archers relatively quick, and then venom spitters take care of everything else. So pretty much as Dino said to me. And I see that probably I can attack right now. Those two riders were not only able to take the second mana well, but also they started to kill workers. The pings on the minimap as well as the new announcer that we introduced in the last patch are telling me that something is attacking them, but I don't really care. They already done what they could, and here I decided that I want to control this tower. I even can spend the magic blast. Well, actually I don't have 2 mana wells anymore. I again own just one, but that is pretty much enough. We can see his army approaching, but venom spitters can rearrange really quick. So they engage into this. That is rather the stupid fight from Dino, I think. Didn't really get it why. Probably he thought that I only had the Eater and the Skeleton Archers. Obviously he couldn't see the Venom Spitters on the high ground. So anyway, even if it would be like that, he just engaged with the 2 knights into the Eater's ultimate ability. But anyways, what happens happens. And now we can see that Dino is starting to get his wind mages. It is just 1 by now, but generally wind mages are very good against venom spitters, but of course not when it's 5 against 1. Like 4 venom spitters, if they use a circle of power, they can kill, I think, like unlimited amount of venom spitters if they are stacked, but that is not really the case. And in this case they just finished off those 2 one after one, so I'm seeing that probably I can at least take a couple of buildings. I don't really feel to engage at the light magic tower right now, but at least we can take down the mana tower to take the strong scrolls from him. I also capture the mana well, and it is funny that my archers can now shoot at his workers. The reason for him to get to cut the wood on this side is that in the beginning of the game on this side workers can get to the castle slightly faster than they get from the normal position. So high skilled players tend to rearrange workers on this, and in the late game that can cost you a couple of workers in some peculiar situations like this. But anyways, this one was over, and Dino with his nerd foxes that he was trying to play like the old-fashioned style without the heroes, probably that's not working equally good anymore, at least if you react on them correctly, switching to the venom speeches. So I suggest you guys to try that out too. And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Make sure to sub so that you don't miss the further ones, and see you later. Bye bye.